It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COMMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four and vitamin. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time to grow together. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time to grow together. Dr. Auger is a OG, got that potion in your elixir. Got devotion to all those who keep on showing up to witness. Fit the tricks and quips and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness. Switching up the routines, pass it off to James quicker. Keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gon' teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing. More like being confident so you can recognize a vision. On a mission, it's official, we gon' get through all these issues. Time for jaw jacking, baby, this is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave and feeling charged. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. This is episode 853 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Two Thumbs, All Smiles, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next hour, me, you, Space Tacos, Nightbot, Marcus Kyler of the Yeet Crew, also have a Worldwide Wednesday update coming next week. Tech Grunt 11G, Jesse Johnson getting up in the dark. But in the cool state of Colorado, Code Brew in the upstate, I'm sure Port Zero's floating around, Mara Levy. Oh my God, so many amazing Simply Cyber community members, including you, are all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day. I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of those stories, on what it means to you as a practitioner. So how can you use this information to drive cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders? And how can you use this information to make you a more marketable, valuable, high-paying cyber practitioner in our industry? It's all about leveling up and crushing goals. On top of that, if you are not a practitioner, but you're aspiring to be one, you're looking to break in, maybe you're a student at the Citadel, maybe you're career pivoting and kind of doing nights and weekends on the side. Whatever your career journey story is, my friend, you are in a great spot right here with us here on the Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Number one, for personal service, you're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? This right here is a great answer. The Daily Cyber Threat Brief, you know, it's hot news. It's spicy, right? There we go. It's hot news, hot takes, it's community, it's network, it's insights. It's Carrie Tyler passing the CYSA Plus yesterday, like boss, right? Straight up sharing. And you'll basically be able to walk into interviews and not just say that you're doing this to stay current, but demonstrate that through obvious responses to the interview questions. So we got a banger of a show for you. It's all about community up in this piece. I'm super excited. The studio's looking a little darker today. I'm working on something kind of big, kind of low-key big over here that's interrupted the studio flow and design for a hot minute, but that's okay. It's all about good times. Guys, I want you to know we got 8 stories this morning, and I haven't seen or read or researched. I literally know nothing about any of these stories. So ain't nobody got time for that. Plus, it makes the show a lot more on your toes, and I do love high energy if it wasn't obvious already. Got my coffee going as if I didn't need that. I'm already lit up like a Christmas tree in the best way possible. I know that can mean a different thing if it's New Year's Eve, 1999. Guys, I do want to say shout out and hello to the stream sponsors. Thank you so very much, stream sponsors, for supporting the show. Let's do a couple quick reads with them. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you exactly how this show solves CPE problems. Let's go. Do you want cutting-edge, high-quality cybersecurity education, regardless of financial position? Check this out. I want to give some love and some praise to Antisyphon Training, powered by Black Hills Information Security. Antisyphon Training is absolutely disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. They bring industry professionals with years and years of experience into the classroom to teach you and anyone else who's interested practical skills that are in demand in the market today. And on top of that, the student experience is amazing, as you and hundreds or thousands in some instances of other students are actively engaging, networking, sharing tips, tricks, and experiences with each other, all live in the classroom. Go to antisyphontraining.com, check out their course calendar to see what courses they have coming up next. You won't regret it. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right, I also want a quick shout out to Barricade Cyber. Got a special read today, so pay attention because it's a one-off. Just really quick, if you have a Microsoft 365 environment, which many of us do, business email compromise attacks are on the rise, and ransomware is the threat du jour, but business email compromise is a sleepy second place, totaling like the billions, like on average $60,000 to $100,000 per business email compromise hit. You don't want to absorb that kind of hit. Fortify 365 from Barricade Cyber Solutions is your defensive shield. Their team can go into your Office 360 M365 environment and basically harden it, fortify it, if you will. It's great as a one-off and get you kind of like set up and for success. Also, you can use it as like, quarterly recurrence. But what I also want you to know, and this is kind of a timely update for everybody. This a week from today, so Tuesday, April 17th. Thursday. Thank God it's not Tuesday. Thursday, April 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'm going to drop a link for this. If you are remotely interested in digital forensics, Blue Team, you can learn from the Chief Forensics Officer at Barricade Cyber Solutions, Eric Taylor, who has an entire business that's quite successful on doing digital forensics. He's going to dive deep exactly on the Windows recycling bin and the forensics you can pull from there. Dude, it's like digital dumpster diving, basically. But if you don't know how to do it, if you don't have the skills, it's just kind of a cool concept. So get some practical skills, show up. This is a free webinar. And, you literally will leave with a skill. I'm going to drop a link to this in chat. And I'm actually going to pin this one, okay? Windows Recycle Bin Forensics. Okay, boom. Go check it out. It's a free, it's kind of like the Lunch and Learn series. You will leave with a practical skill because Eric Taylor doesn't mess around when it comes to stuff like this. So shout out to Barricade Cyber. If anyone has questions in chat, at Kimberly, because I'm going to move on to the next thing, but Kimberly is aware of what this thing, this webinar is all about. Finally, really quickly, I do want to tell you about Flare Academy, guys. Yet another learning opportunity. Guys, if you didn't know, Simply Cyber is all about community empowerment, right? That's one of our core values is empowerment, empowering you with the services and resources you need to basically go as far as you want as a practitioner. Flare Academy, really quickly, guys. If you've ever wondered what separates the best cyber pros from everyone else, right? I will tell you part of it is Not just what you know, but who you learn it from, right? You can get different levels of depth. People can communicate more effectively than other people. Some people are myopic and miss kind of the bigger picture. So it does matter. I want to tell you about Flare Academy, right? Flare Academy gives you something of incredible value. Not only do you get live training and talks, but you can get direct access to the cybersecurity researchers afterwards through their exclusive Discord. So imagine getting your questions answered in real time, very much like Jawjacking and AMA, by industry experts during the post-event Q&A. So learn something from them and then immediately get questions answered and go deeper with that topic. You'll have a treasure trove of high-value training resources right at your fingertips. It's not really another course necessarily. It's a backstage pass to kicking butt in cybersecurity. You can join the Flare Academy Discord community using the link in the description below. I'm in there. I think it's cool. You can see all these different trainings they have if you're interested. So shout out to Flare Academy and Flare in general. I like Flare quite a bit as a product, as you guys know. So shout out to that. I want you to know every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat, grab a screenshot, file it away once a year, count screenshots, divide by 2. Now, I do want to say one really quick thing. It is Thursday, which means one thing and one thing only. It's What's Your Meme Thursday. This guy right here, Dan Reardon, community member, the haircut fish, he makes a custom meme. It's always awesome, good times, and he's got a fresh one that just came out the oven, piping hot for you guys this morning, and we'll get to that at the mid-roll. Finally, if today's your first time, I know it's not DP and KP's first time. They've been long timers. Guys, if today's your first time on the show with us, hashtag first timer, you might notice chats popping off. That's not a coincidence. That's not a one-off. This community is friggin' awesome. Good morning, community, hashtag Team SC. And we have a special sound effect and a special emote to welcome first timers to the chat because we want you to know that we welcome you and we're super happy to have you here. That's what this community is about. If this is turning you off, if you're like, oh my God, dude, turn the volume down. Well, I don't know what to tell you, but this is what we're doing here. It's all about support. It's all about inclusion and it's all about good times. So sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over all of us in an awesome way. But I'll see you guys at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, April 10th, 2025. I'm Sean Kelly. U.S. Comptroller suffers major incident. On Tuesday, the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of the Comptroller of the Currency characterized their recent email system breach as a major incident. In late February, Microsoft alerted officials to the incident, which abused an OCC email administrator account. The initial investigation found no evidence of impact on the financial sector and concluded that only a limited number of email accounts were affected. However, new reports from Bloomberg and Microsoft indicate that 103 email accounts with emails totaling 150,000 were compromised and contained highly sensitive financial information. The attack commenced in May of last year, 9 months prior to its discovery. It remains unclear who is behind the attack.
I mean, I have a theory. Okay, so check it out. It's OCC, not OPP. So, you naughty by nature fans, calm down. Listen, their emails got hacked. If I had to guess, they're probably using M365. Like the U.S. government's pretty heavy on Microsoft services, which would be Exchange Online. 150,000 emails hacked. Now, with a number this high and it being the U.S. federal government, I would assume, number one, that the multi-factor authentication was in place. Okay. Also, by the way, it says 150,000 emails. They could have hacked in one account, and I see, who said it? Somebody said it. Valentino busted my chops here, saying that they got access to my email, and it's 150,000 unread emails. I will tell you, if you didn't know, this is like kind of a turnoff for some people. Currently, I have 179,000 unread emails, so don't judge me. If it was my email account, it would have said 179,000 emails access, but only 100 accounts were compromised. Again, I suspect that with this number, this number's kind of low. So you could think credential stuffing was successful, but you'd have to imagine multi-factor authentication got in. So now I'm thinking it was multi-factor authentication is not a silver bullet. I guess that's probably the TLDR here for everybody, right? All we're supposed to be doing, or all we can do, I should say, is raise the bar for threat actors, right? Make the hurdle taller to jump over and, throw down a bunch of jacks, not Jack Scott, but the ball and jacks game from when the 40s, like those, or a tire spike strip or something. Throw down obstacles to make it painful and awkward for threat actors to get into our systems and environments, but you can't stop it. A motivated threat actor with sufficient time and skill will break into any system, basically, right? And I know the Mission Impossible movies sensationalize it, but it's kind of, almost hyperbolic version of yes, if you want to get the knock list from the CIA from that secret room with the floor sensors and the heat things, you can do it. It's just, time, sophistication, and effort. Now, when I first saw this, also, I was thinking Doge, Doge was up in there and they just left a bunch of stuff. But this is actually just kind of a coincidence. It is, this has been around for months and months and months. So 100 accounts, no understanding on how these 103 accounts were compromised. But they did get access to highly sensitive information. Okay, so here's another thing. First of all, multi-factor authentication, all the things. Second of all, and this one's really hard to do. So, this is one of those ones, GRC people, this is one where you might want to spend a little political capital, but it would be very difficult to fully achieve. They said that in those 100 accounts, there was very financial sensitive information. Now, this is the Department of Treasury's Office of Comptroller of Currency. So obviously it's a lot of financial information, but even your own business, right? Your CFO emailing the CEO and stuff. If you can get into the habit of linking to an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF or a slide deck instead of attaching it, first of all, everybody appreciates that for just file size in their inbox. But secondly, a threat actor would need to be able to get access to that document as well, not just have it in the email. Now, realistically, if they got in your email, they may already have session tokens, right? And be able to access Office 365 documents as well. So again, that's not a silver bullet, but let's say that you're oh, hey, here's a link to the contract in DocuSign or Dropbox or Adobe, whatever. You introduce other hurdles or layers of basically access control. So there is that, although I'm telling you, a CFO and a CEO who are trying to come up with some type of pricing strategy for a big thing or something, or cash flow, they're going to talk an email. Unfortunately, that's why this is a difficult one to mitigate the risk down on. You almost have to accept the risk, frankly. I don't know how they detected this. There's another thing here. I don't know how they detected this. 103 different emails. It's very difficult to know how they caught this. It could even have been Microsoft reaching in and saying, hey, we're seeing logins from these weird places. So you can use, there is geolocation, but those are super easy to break or trick by using VPNs or hacking somebody local and then moving through, or do what North Korea does and just hire people in Tennessee to run laptop farms out of their kitchen. All right.
Oracle confirms obsolete servers hacked. In an ongoing saga we've been covering here on Cybersecurity Headlines, Oracle has finally confirmed via email notifications to customers that hackers leaked credentials stolen from its servers. The notification said, quote, Oracle would like to state unequivocally that the Oracle Cloud, also known as Oracle Cloud Infrastructure or OCI, has not experienced a security breach, end quote. A hacker was able to access username and passwords from 2 obsolete servers that were never part of OCI. Oracle said because the passwords were hashed, the hacker was unable to access any customer environments or data. Researcher Kevin Beaumont said that Oracle's denials of a breach of Oracle Cloud is wordplay, since the breached servers were part of Oracle's older cloud services environment, which it rebranded as Oracle Classic.
All right, couple things here. Number one, Justin Gold, hashtag mod love. So if you can, squad members, jump into that emote tray and drop the mod love emote for our Justin Gold. He actually he dug into the official statement from OCC on this story really quick going back. The way that they were able to detect it is they saw through the log. So hashtag security operations people are people too. Hashtag Wade Wells mustache may have been involved. A system administrative account in the office automation environment was accessing OCC user mailboxes. So that's a detection right there. When you see an unusual account that almost sounds like it was a service account accessing mailboxes, that is a gross red flag. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And shout out to detection engineers everywhere. That's not that particular detection doesn't sound like an out of the box can one. Okay, so Oracle says obsolete servers hacked, denies cloud breach. Okay, so Oracle's coming forward and saying, hey, a bunch of creds were stolen from 2 obsolete servers. And I'm going to give you all the TLDRs on this one really quickly, okay? Hey, 2 obsolete servers were breached, but they said the credentials are compromised. Now, here's your rapid fire lightning round. 1, Oracle says that the credentials were hashed, so there's no compromise. Bullcrap. Okay, yes, hashing credentials does reduce, like you don't get like the easy button, but there's things called rainbow tables. There's things called computers that can do cracking. I don't know what hashing algorithm they use. I don't know if it's, completely true to say that those credentials can't be recovered, but there are techniques. Hashcat, I believe, right? There are techniques to reverse a hash, even though a hash is a one-way math function. So don't come at me, bro, with it's hash, so it's absolutely guaranteed to be secure. It's just another hurdle for threat actors. Number 2, they're playing silly games here, okay? They said it's not a breach because the system that got breached was like old Oracle. Well, they rebranded old Oracle to like Cloud Classic or something like that. So it kind of sounds like they're saying, almost like when a threat actor pops like DarkSide, pops Colonial Pipeline, and then they're like, oh Jesus, and they rebrand to Black Matter, and then they're like, no, it wasn't us. That was DarkSide. That was a totally different thing than us, right? So that's kind of what it sounds like. Just when you rebrand or you stick a new, like if you have a restaurant in your town that sucks and they change their name from, La Cucina de Pinocchio's to, the Flamin' Donkey and Dog and Pony Show, but it's the same menu with the same staff and the same crap service. Guess what? It still sucks. You can't rebrand it and call it something new. So, Kevin Beaumont is pointing out that this is shenanigans, okay? 3rd thing, lightning round. Kevin Beaumont, a.k.a. Gossy the Dog on socials. Great follow. He's a British researcher. He works in Blue Team. I believe he works for Microsoft, or at least he used to at some point. He's a must follow. The guy's putting out really great posts, sometimes kind of funny and pithy, but a lot of times it's threat intelligence, real-time threat intelligence, what he's seen. Log4Shell, he found that one, or he was involved early on that one. So Gossy the Dog, Gossi the Dog. Okay, hold on. Let me actually just do it this way. Gossy the Dog. Okay, you can find him here. He's on a bunch of different places. He's on X. He's on Cyberplace Spatials, whatever. Here is his repo right here. I'll drop a link. Definitely, dude, I would say take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes today. Just bookmark this. Take 5 minutes and just follow this guy on socials. You can always unfollow him. I'm just telling you, he's a great follow. Always delivering value. And you can see here, like his meme, the SS Ship It. And then fourth hot take on this one. Guys, the value train is backed up, and I'm hooking up more and more transport cars to this story. Obsolete servers. Hello. If something is obsolete, may I recommend decommissioning it or turning it off or friggin' doing any of the system lifecycle steps that are at the end, right? This is literally attack surface that there is no business reason for. If it's obsolete, if you've got things that have been sunset, make them offline or make them unavailable or do anything. This is such a classic recurring theme of data breaches where it's like, oh yeah, like you remember that Access database with the custom front end we made? Yeah, that got hacked. Yeah, well, no kidding, because no one's thought about it in 3 years. All right. Really, system lifecycle bothers me.
Police seize smoke loader malware servers and detain customers. In a press release on Wednesday, Europol announced that its ongoing Operation Endgame has tracked down and seized smoke loader botnet servers and detained at least 5 suspected customers. According to investigators, the smoke loader pay-per-install botnet service was run by a threat actor called Superstar. A database seized during the operation allowed officials to track down the cybercriminals by linking them to their online aliases. Europol has yet to release details about the suspects and said that some of them are cooperating and have allowed them to examine digital evidence on their personal devices. Europol has set up a dedicated website to share the latest news related to the investigation.
Heck yeah. All right, dude, I love it. All right, so smoke loader, which by the way, is smoke loader, if I'm someone fact check me on this, but smoke loader, as far as I know, is I want to say that's FireEye's naming convention. Let me see. Smoke loader. Yeah, you can see smoke loader, which has a bunch of AKAs. Dufoil, Sharik, smoke loader. I really feel like it's FireEye named this one. Anyways, this is a basically, you can see it here, generic backdoor with a range of capabilities. And basically, it's very flexible to act as a vehicle to pull down additional payloads from, it can create basically C2 traffic to Microsoft.com, Bing, Adobe, things that'll show up in your SIM and look like normal activity. Smoke loader's been around a while. Like, it's one of those like persistent, very effective, like consistent, useful malwares that threat actors like. And if I'm not mistaken, the threat actor group that's using smoke loader uses it as a basically loader as a service or malware as a service. So they're basically a criminal enterprise that are available for hire, right? You need and think of it as like Uber Eats, except like for malware. Like if you don't want to develop, you don't want to make your own lunch, you can just call Uber Eats and they'll fire off a Bon Me 5-spice pork sandwich over to you. And if you need malware loaded on a victim's box and you don't have time, you just call, Uber Eats Smoke Loader Edition and get that malware fired off in there. And then you can, just play a quick round of Fortnite. And then, when you're done getting that crown, your malware's loaded. So you could see here, Iced, TrickBot, Bumblebee, like they're all seized in this attack, which is wonderful, much larger than just the smoke loader. These are malwares that have been consistent. Like here's the thing, like a lot of SecOps people can speak generally and say like, oh yeah, I've seen a lot of that, but they can't say like, I saw an uptick at this particular client. Law enforcement isn't releasing a lot of information on this simply because it's an ongoing investigation. Plus, they're probably going to put the screws to the 5 individuals that they've arrested in order to unlock more of their criminal enterprise and get more people arrested. Arrest them all. Let's go. Dude. All right. Paper install botnet. That's what I'm saying. This is Uber Eats malware. That's what this is. Oh, here we go. Oh, dude, Justin Gold is killing it today as in the mod chat. Look at. So as I had suspected, this is earlier than I thought, but this is a smoke loader evolution. You can see 2011. It goes all the way back to 2011. 2014 is where I saw it come into play. I saw it at MUSC. I don't mind sharing where I saw it when I was at the medical university. And you could see here, it's just been consistent. The threat actors who are behind this, they could put on their resume they have 14 years of software development experience, so they're going to get that job. But yeah, it's just, this is what I'm talking about. Like when you see this, you could tell that it's effective, basically. Here's like, this is a hot take really quickly. So anytime I give hot takes, I do want to give a tinfoil hat. If you're a first timer here, I didn't see any first timers in chat, but if you're a first timer, anytime I say something that is like my opinion and not like fact or based on something objective, I do the tinfoil hat. A lot of times when you see effective, consistent, mature malware, like SmokeLoader in this instance, a lot of times you'll see the threat actors are continuing to refine it. They treat it like a product, and they put money and resources and, most importantly, time into maturing the product. The same way you would expect any product of software that you buy to, you buy it, you want the vendor to keep improving it, fixing bugs, putting in new features. That's what the high-end malware does, and SmokeLoader is no different. So if you see a piece of, like, basically, here's my TLDR. If you hear of a piece of malware, like Emotet, for example, right? Emotet keeps coming up like a rash that you don't want your neighbors to know you have. It keeps flaring up, right? So Emotet is one of those ones where if you hear it enough times over a long period of time, you should think, oh, this is one of those ones that the threat actors are improving and investing in doing these things instead of just a shot in the dark. Derek Smith, first timer. Welcome to the party, pal. Let's go.
CenterStack 0-day exploited to breach file sharing servers. Since last month, hackers have been exploiting a vulnerability in Gladinet CenterStack's secure file sharing software. CenterStack is an enterprise file sharing and access platform that turns on-premise file servers into secure, cloud-like file systems. CenterStack is used by thousands of businesses globally and is popular among managed service providers who host file services for their clients. The issue stems from an improperly protected and hard-coded machine key in the CenterStack portal configuration. If the attacker knows the key, they can craft a malicious payload that the server will trust and execute. Gladinet recommends customers upgrade to the latest patched version or manually rotate their machine key as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. If a threat actor knows the credentials, they can craft a special malware to infect your machine. It's not a special they have the credentials. They have the access, bro. So, for timing purposes, because I have to go teach at the Citadel today. Well, I'm not teaching. I actually have a guest lecturer, but I do have to meet him there before the class starts. So, the TLDR, if you're running CenterStack, okay, which I guess is a file sharing service. If you're running CenterStack, you got to patch it. Period, full stop. It sounds like the vulnerability is that if you have a hard-coded cred, you can get it and exploit it. So ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And now we'd like to give a huge thanks to our sponsor, Nudge Security. Trying to squeeze a few more
Hey, H2O, first timer. Welcome to the party, H2O.
line items into your security budget? Nudge Security can help. It's the only solution for SaaS security and governance that can discover up to 2 years of historical SaaS spend along with usage insights so you can uncover wasted spend and redeploy those dollars elsewhere. Start a free trial at nudgesecurity.com/SaaS spend. That's NUDGE security.com/SaaS spend.
Yeah, first timers, dude, get this. Oh yeah, hey, so all you long timers and first timers, we do this every day at the mid-roll. Every single day of the week has a special segment, and Thursdays, I love Thursdays. Before I show you the custom meme of the week, I do want to say shout out and thanks again to the stream sponsors, those partners who I use or have used and endorse, as well as just grateful that they support the show, so I'm able to make this show happen every single day alongside the mod team. I'm able to set up and build this. Just so everybody knows really quickly, this right here, I was so upset the other day when someone asked me for free entry-level GRC analyst learning that, and I didn't have a great answer, which is why I created the GRC Analyst Masterclass in the first place, that this right here is me set up, and I'm going to film it tomorrow, a foundation GRC mini course. It's going to have 6 lectures, maybe like an hour or so of content. And it's literally the answer to that question. It'll be a free course. Everybody can get it, no problem. And it'll help you understand exactly what GRC is, and if you want the job, and what skills you should get, and a bunch of other things. The idea behind it is I want a better answer to that question. It's embarrassing me to not have a great answer to questions from people. Guys, every single day of the week has a special segment, and Thursdays is What's Your Memes Thursday. This guy right here, Dan Reardon, the Haircut Fish, longtime community member, huge fan of this guy, love this guy, Central PA's own husband, father, and meme maker. Today's meme, really quick for context, if you didn't know, I have gotten somehow I've gotten addicted to Daisy. So DayZ, as in Zeta, like the letter Z, it's a survival game. It's like zombies, but it's really not about zombies. It's about survival. The game is brutally hard. I literally hate it, and I cannot stop playing it. It's brutal. It's brutal because it's brutal. So, anyways, Dan, taking it this under insight, created this week's meme of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, and it's Day GRC. So it's like DayZ. This is the DayZ look and feel, but Dan has put me in there with Day GRC. I'm a huge GRC fan, and I just want to say shout out very much to Dan Reardon for leaning into this this infuriating game that I play. So thanks so much, Dan. All right, guys. I also want to share this really quickly. There's this trend going on right now of making yourself an action figure. I did it this morning just for fun. Here we go. This is me. Seems on brand for What's Your Meme Thursday. All right. Every single day of the week has a special segment, right? But while we're doing that, every single day we do the la 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 la's. Alpha Sierra is our drum major. She leads us off. So Alpha Sierra, if you would, and everybody else follow along, you know the words. And you first timers, H2O, hope you're enjoying it. Oh my God, DayZ server, let's go. That's funny. Code Brew. I have a can of peaches and a clipboard. All right, let's finish strong, y'all.
Phishing kits now vet victims in real time. Threat actors have been spotted employing a new evasion tactic called precision validated phishing. This new technique uses real-time email validation through either validation service API calls or JavaScript code to ensure phishing content is shown only to pre-verified, high-value targets. If an invalid target is identified, they are either presented with an error message or directed to benign sites. Email security firm Cofense said this new tactic is blocking visibility for researchers who typically enter fake or controlled email addresses to map the credential theft campaign. Ultimately, this reduces detection rates and prolongs the lifespan of phishing operations.
Wow. So this is pretty cool. Again, for threat actors. So like, let's make no mistake. This is not cool for us, but it's cool for threat actors. They call it precision validated email, whatever. But basically, they are doing a level of check to see if they spray out a bunch of emails, and then they can use API calls to see if it's a high value account or not. Now, let's back up for a hot second. Number one, spear phishing is where you already know who your victim is going to be, and you send a targeted direct email to them because you know that they're high value to whatever your mission is, right? Or whatever your objectives are, versus mass phishing where you send it to an entire email distribution. And then, you get, like, let's say you send it to 10,000 people, you get 1,000 hits. And then of the 1,000, like, let's say 800 aren't valuable to you or what your mission is, right? You still have to go through those 800 and figure out if they're valuable or not. So this is where the time saving is coming in for the threat actors, right? So here's my thing. Number one, this is good to know. This is actually, you know what? For people like looking to break in or job interviews, people who are in the industry and moving around, this is actually a great story for your back pocket in job interviews, because this is a classic attack. Everybody knows about phishing. It's like the number one initial attack vector. Everyone knows about it, but this is an innovation by the threat actors that InfoSec teams may not know about. And because it has a cool name, right? Precision validated phishing, like you can just whip that out at a job interview and be like, oh yeah, hey, threat actor gets in the environment, whatever. It's like, oh man, they could have been like, who got hit? Oh, the CEO. Well, it could have been precision validated phishing. That's a new technique that's been going on, and would make it so our email security gateway is less likely to detect it because there's less threat intel of a wholesale phishing campaign going on. All right. So number one, that's something you should bust out in a job interview. Number two, why would they do this? Number two, like, obviously it saves threat actors time of having to sift through a bunch of email addresses or email compromised accounts that are not valuable. But from a defensive perspective, a lot of times email security gateways, like your big boys, like Exchange Online Protection, Proofpoint, Mimecast, those type of email services, they have such visibility and such telemetry that when there's a massive campaign going on, when you see 100,000 emails go out that all look the same, then you could say, oh, wait a minute, this is an indicator of a phishing campaign. Let's shut it down across the board. John Taffer, shut it down. Okay? Well, with this precision one, actually, you know what? Hold on. What I was just about to say is not accurate. Hold on. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. So what I was just about to say is not 100% accurate. Now that, again, I don't research or prep these stories in advance. The emails are still going to go out. You're still going to have 100,000 emails go out. So fortunately for us, that control and visibility is going to still be in place, and we're still going to be able to take advantage of it. What is actually happening here is of the 1,000, again, so 100,000 people get the email, 1,000 fall for it. So 1,000 people go in and try to put their credentials in. What the threat actors are doing is, once they get the credentials, I guess they do some kind of quick lookup to see if it's a high value account that they're getting. And if it's not, they return an error message. So to kind of like basically have the victim back away and not realize that they just fell for a fish. Essentially, the threat actor's throwing the credentials away. Or if I've never caught a fish. I'm hoping to catch one this Sunday. But if you've ever caught a fish and like, oh, it's too small, throw it back. Or you catch a boot and you throw it back. Like, that's what they're doing here. They're throwing it back into the water because it's not what they want. They're trying to catch that big, lake trout or something like that. So that's what's going on here. Now, the final thing I'll say about this is, it's cute to say, oh, they'll only pull high value accounts into the boat, but define high value, if you will, for a second. Okay. Like, how are you going to tell? Like, unless they're able to pull title and the title says CEO or CFO or something like that, maybe, but that can be faked. Some organizations may not adopt that kind of title naming convention, right? So this isn't definitive, but it probably can help cut down on time spent by the threat actors. Yeah, and then finally, they do mention an impact. Everything I've been saying right now is for security operations for a business, right? So like, which is what I normally think of. I think of like SecOps at a business, me helping protect the business today. There's an additional thing here that's kind of outside what I normally do around security research. So if you're a threat intelligence person or a security researcher and you find these landing pages and you're trying to execute the attack in order to basically get more telemetry, see indicators of compromise, look at the flow, figure out what kind of payloads are being delivered, you're actually going to have more trouble because now the precision validation isn't going to see you as a high value target. Again, I think this is quite easy to circumvent. You just get a security researcher who stands up a fake business, names themselves CEO, and boom, you're off and running. So
Hackers target bugs in EC2 sites to steal AWS credentials. F5 Labs has observed hackers exploiting server-side request forgery or SSRF vulnerabilities in websites hosted on AWS Elastic Cloud Compute instances. The attackers are using credentials extracted from EC2 metadata to escalate their privileges and access S3 buckets and other AWS services. The attacks are targeting instances running on AWS's older metadata service, IMDS version 1, that allows anyone with access to retrieve the metadata. The system has been superseded by IMDS version 2, which requires session token authentication to protect websites. F5 researchers said the malicious activity spiked between March 13th and 25th, and behavioral patterns strongly suggest that it was carried out by a single threat actor.
All right. So server-side request forgery is a server-side request forgery is a OWASP top 10 attack on web apps. EC2, just for everybody who knows, this is the essentially standing up servers in Amazon's AWS instance, so you control the entire operating system up, right? They handle the below the operating system, like the hardware and stuff like that. That's what EC2 is. So if you have an EC2 instance where you stand up your own system, you might be exploited through SSRF in order to get those creds. One thing I find weird is right off the rip, I don't research these stories, but just really quick, my initial gut here, and I'd love people's thoughts on this. SSRF is a web app vulnerability, right? So you're at, layers, whatever, 5, 6, 7. The application layer of the app, right? You can exploit it and do things at the operating system level, but it's a web app. The EC2 hosted site, EC2 is infrastructure. So you can have a Debian EC2 or an Ubuntu EC2 or a Windows EC2. It doesn't matter. So I don't understand why you control the web app, you control everything above the operating system in an EC2 host. So to me, when I see this, it's immediately confusing to me why there would be a known web application vulnerability in EC2 hosted sites. Like the fact it's EC2 that has nothing to do with it. It's the web application that's being exploited. Now, obviously, if it's a web application on EC2 hosted servers, then AWS is involved and those creds could get popped. So to me, really quick, there's a little bit of confusion. So it says that you can extract EC2 metadata, which might include the This is gross that you can pull credentials through metadata. Eesh. So once they get the credentials, obviously they're able to exploit the actual service itself, and then they're underneath the web application. All right. Yeah, so see, SSRF is where you can basically trick a server into making HTTP requests to internal resources on the server. But again, you control the web server on this one. Okay, so here's the deal. The attack located websites hosted on EC2 with SSRF flaws. So the problem here is that the web application itself had flaws, and because of that flaw, they were able to, if it was hosted on EC2, they could get into it. So this is not an Amazon issue. This isn't an AWS issue. This is a, basically vulnerable web application server that gets exploited, and they're reaching down underneath into the operating system, into the infrastructure to get things. Now, obviously, maybe Amazon shouldn't be putting credentials in metadata. That's a defense in depth technique, but also don't run vulnerable web servers. And I'm not blaming victims here. I'm just saying this isn't like totally an Amazon problem. This is the web server you deployed.
Ransomware attacks hit all-time high as payouts dwindle. On Wednesday, BlackFrog issued its State of Ransomware Q1 2025 report. The report revealed that March set a new high with over 100 ransomware attacks publicly disclosed, an increase of 81% compared to March of last year. Record-breaking month contributed to the first quarter of this year also being a record breaker with 278 disclosed ransomware attacks. Data exfiltration played a major part in this surge, with 95% of all publicly disclosed attacks involving some form of data leak. A report from Chainalysis back in February suggests the increased intensity of ransomware activity may be due to profits plummeting. Payouts decreased by 33% to $818 million last year from a record-breaking $1.25 billion in 2023.
All right. It's like scrambling to get the scraps. This is like kind of, COVID pandemic time, like, trying to go to Costco in like June to get toilet paper, right? If you went in March or April when it first started popping, you could get like your one bundle of toilet paper. But if you showed up in like May or June, nothing, right? That's what's going on here, essentially, for everybody who lived through that. By the way, fun fact on the side, I bought black market toilet paper. I met a guy in a parking lot and we did a transaction. That's where we were in 2020, guys. Okay, so ransomware attacks hit all-time high as payoffs dwindle. So here's the deal. Less ransomware payments are being made because, lo and behold, we have got some small marginal victories, cyber practitioners, where our ability to recover from ransomware faster, not have business impact, or be able to be resilient are working, right? We've got immutable backups. We have Veeam doing stuff. We have, I'm trying to think I know that there's certain EDR providers that make it impossible to delete shadow copies. They basically trick. Well, I don't want to get into tradecraft, but basically there's ones where the shadow copies don't get deleted. Just overall better protection from even getting the initial payloads deployed. All of those things are winning. So as ransomware attacks go up, just because ransomware attacks are going up doesn't mean that more businesses are being successfully compromised by ransomware. You can be attacked and successfully defend it, right? Yes, Eric Taylor does comment that if you do get hit and you are forced to make a payment, the payment will be higher because the threat actors are basically trying to maintain their margins, right? So if I make $100,000 a year by hitting 10 victims for 10 grand each, and now I'm hitting 10 victims and 9 of them aren't paying, well, guess what? I got to make my numbers, right? Matthew McConaughey, got to hit those numbers. So that last victim has $100,000 ransom payment. So kind of gross, but you know what? Honestly, I'm a fan. I like that we're slowly curbing the tide on even making the payments. And there's a lot of reasons for not making payments, right? Some are regulatory, like U.S. federal government won't pay ransom payments. Some are because of good controls.
Lovable AI found most vulnerable to vibe scamming. Lovable is a generative AI-powered platform that enables creation of full-stack web applications using text-based prompts. Guardio Labs found Lovable to be the most susceptible to jailbreak attacks, allowing novice and aspiring cybercriminals to set up lookalike credential harvesting pages. This technique was dubbed vibe scamming after the AI-dependent programming technique called vibe coding. Guardio Labs said, quote, "From pixel-perfect scam pages to live hosting, evasion techniques, and even admin dashboards to track stolen data, Lovable didn't just participate, it performed. No guardrails, no hesitation." End quote. Guardio said Lovable not only produces convincing login pages mimicking real Microsoft sign-in pages, but also auto-deploys the page on a URL hosted on its own subdomain and redirects to office.com after stealing credentials. The rising popularity of such AI tools will likely significantly reduce the barriers to entry for attackers.
Okay. All right. So, yes, obviously. First of all, with the advent of AI, threat actors are going to be faster, stronger, more consistent, more effective with their attacks. Plus, the barrier to entry is going to be greatly lowered, right? This is the idea of why knowledge workers are scared about the dissolution of their value prop to an organization, because you can use AI to do things. Now, let's talk about the word vibe scamming, please. I know that there's a term called vibe coding. I heard it in a conversation yesterday, and it's basically just kind of like vibing with an AI, as far as I can tell, vibing with an AI in order to get some type of software product out. So vibe scamming, I don't think that's going to be, hopefully not a long-term term, but it's essentially creating a web page with the explicit intent of scamming people out of money. Here's my suspicion. First of all, yes, this should come as no surprise. There's big AIs like ChatGPT, Gemini, that are going to have guardrails. But as technology gets wider and as the cost to run these things gets lower, there's going to be more and more of these. So expect this. Again, Mustafa Suleyman in his book, The Coming Wave, predicted this, and it's coming to fruition. Again, simplycyber.io/books if you're interested. My first choice, The Coming Wave. Okay, very sobering read. I would recommend not making that your beach read. Secondly, here's my big prediction. Okay, I wish it was like December 30th so I could have a big prediction for the new year. But here's my prediction: you are going to get arrests of lots of people who are doing this, because they're going to be casual criminals who probably watch some friggin' TikTok video on how to steal Kias, and they're like, oh man, I could do a vibe scam, let's do that. And they're just gonna be made examples of, okay? Because their OPSEC is gonna be trash, they're not gonna clean up, they're just gonna be casual criminals, and it's not, like, that's my big prediction. They're gonna be like,
oh yeah, I'm gonna make some cash, baby. What? Oh no, police are here. Oh.
Right, that's what's up. All right, so 8:56. Let's go really quickly. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We've got some serious jaw-jacking going on. It's going to be a 30-minute AMA with Eric Taylor, Chief Forensics Officer at Barricade Cyber, and the same guy who's running this webinar next Thursday at 11 a.m. Totally free webinar. It is the pin chat right now on YouTube chat. Guys, just remember at 4:30 p.m. today, this guy, Philip Wiley, you know him. He's awesome. He's a longtime community member, pen tester, podcasting. We're going to have we're going to vibe stream, I guess, to talk to Gen Z here. We're going to have a vibe pod later today with Philip Wiley. So if you're interested in good times, come back, 4:30, Simply Cyber channel. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Don't go anywhere, because we are going to be bringing you Eric Taylor in a hot minute. Until next time, stay secure. See ya! Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jaw-Jacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jaw-Jacking.
What's up? Hope everybody is doing well. If this is your first time, sorry, got some family issues going on naturally, so I'm not in my normal office. I'm back at the Casa again today, mostly because of puppy and everything else. So can't leave puppies with two older bulldogs because the puppy gets trampled and has an injured leg. So bulldogs being bulldog. Well, I promised y'all last time, and I'll get into the jaw jacking in a second. Come here. That if don't be scared. This is come, you big potato. This is one of our English bulldogs. Oh, now the other one comes over and it says, "What's going on?" So that's one. That's Annie. And I do this because I know Jerry has shared his before. But this is our big freaking potato. That's Loki. Hi, boy. He hates it when I do that. See what I mean? I'm not sure you see that, but he just tried to bite my face. But yeah, Annie went and did a normal bulldog thing, went and tried to bulldoze the puppy, scared the crap out of him the other day, and he's still limping around. He's starting to put weight back on it. So I don't think he needs the vet yet. Been able to put a bunch of pressure on it and stuff like that. He's not hooping and hollering, so I think he just twisted the crap out of it. So we'll kind of go with that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I kind of let that stuff go to talk about until we get some questions coming in. I do see some coming in, and I'll get to those in a moment. Thanks to everybody who's been registering for the recycle bin. It's been something that's always been, talked about in active cases. There's not a whole lot of forensics in the recycle bin, but it's a very nuanced thing, right? We see a lot of times we do really in depth and try to really figure out what's in the recycle bin when it comes to like insider threat, deletion of files, things of that nature. You kind of go about it from there. I'll give some tips and tricks like how else could you potentially preserve that data, because the recycle bin is kind of trashy a little bit. So there's some other ways to help preserve some of that stuff for a certain amount of time. So in an investigation. So yeah, we'll go through some tips and tricks. It'll be kind of quick. It'll probably be about 20, 30 minutes or so. I doubt I'll go there for the full hour or anything like that. We got some other stuff on the roadmap. So we're going to be I want to do a series of RAT tools, remote access tools like AnyDesk, TeamViewer, Screen Connect, things of that nature. I'm going to set up dummy stuff. I'm going to do a bunch of transactions and stuff like that to show you how we go through it, looking at some of the RAT tools and things of that nature, what's potentially visible, what's potentially not. So, ideally, it's just a bunch of quick series that we're going to put together in a webinar fashion and kind of go from there. So if y'all are interested, stay tuned. We got some other apps that are coming up. Oh, EPSS. So I'm working on a new update. I was hoping to have it done yesterday, but it's not quite there yet. Let me mute my phone. It may not come out because Microsoft has a security index, and it's driven by an API. And in a lot of ways, I think Microsoft just kind of abandoned the security index, saying, them putting out, what their criticality is on the certain CVEs and things of that nature. So I'm getting really, really spotty results on CVEs. So it may be something that Microsoft has unofficially abandoned, and we won't be able to implement. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to have some conversations with that. So anyway, a lot of great stuff that's coming up here soon. So definitely stay tuned. I'm not sure if Jerry talked about it. We know DJ BSEC's been very busy with work, things of that nature for a while now. So I told Jerry yesterday that until DJ BSEC comes back, I will take over jaw jacking for Tuesday and Thursdays. He happily said, yay. And so that's what's kind of going to happen, right? Let's pull up Eric Taylor, origin stories, wrong answers only. Oh, Roswell, okay. I'll be looking through chat on that one. Holy moly. I'm sure there's going to be a potato farmer line somewhere because I called Loki a potato. I'm a potato. I don't know why that meme sticks with me so much. Exellipsis, what is the link for the Barricade Cyber next week? So it should be in the pinned comments, but let me see. Can I get into... Bear with me a second while I'm working in the background. My account. Webinars. So if you don't see it, I don't know if the pinned comment goes. I doubt it would now that Jerry's gone. But in case it's not there anymore, there's there's a link coming to you. Question from Random X. How much of a threat do vibe kitties pose to your environment? What is a vibe kitty? I'm a boomer. Come here. Let's see. Define vibe kitty. So vibe kitty combines two terms of vibe and kitty, describes a cat that exudes positive, relaxed, chill energy. Do you say kitty or kitty? Because that doesn't make it kitties. Okay, let me retry that. If y'all can't tell, I'm working off my laptop, so things is a slang term for a person who's perceived as having a positive, energetic, and enjoyable aura of presence, especially among younger people. So a vibe kitty is an upbeat person. Let's try slang term. And mods, I'm sure you're screaming at me, but as Justin and Casually Joseph knows, if I'm on my laptop, I definitely do not have Discord on me, only when I'm on my desktop. So sorry to the mods who may be yelling at me for the answers. So vibe, according to Gen Z, my Gen Z dictionary, refers to bragging about something or showing off. Oh, so Random X, if that's what it is, where the vibe kitties are, overinflated, ego-driven type of people, then they pose a major damage to the organization. They will become your insider threat, without a doubt. They're going to think that they can do whatever they want because they know what they're doing, whether they really do or don't, and they're going to throw all the caution to the wind. And it's not going to be good for the organization in any way, shape, or form. So please be wary of that. Question: have you ever owned an American Bulldog? No. So we had a big English Mastiff for a while. Boy, was a freaking beast. And after we had to let him go because of cancer, I was like, I'm a jarhead, so I'm like, I want an English Bulldog. I want to relive Chester, right? That's the name of the Marine Corps' Bulldog. If those who don't know, his name is Chester. Doesn't matter what base you're at, the damn dog's name is Chester, right? So I wanted English Bulldogs. And so now I got two of them. And we got the Frenchie that I showed Tuesday, which I think is finally sleeping. Holy moly. So be quiet. We want that puppy sleeping. That's pretty much for my daughter. So hope to bring her some joy once the puppy gets out of its biting and nibbling phase. On the positive note, with him getting trampled by one of the English Bulldogs, he's gotten more cuddly because he's like, where can you find this content? Maurice Martin, please define content. Sorry, I'm not quite understanding. Oh, there it is. The potato farmer. Recycle bin, kind of trashy. Yeah, in more ways than one. And is there a limit to the number of registrars? Yes, we got a very small account, and I don't imagine at all. I think it's 500. Let me check to make sure I'm not over here smoking crack in my casa. Billing and plans, plan management. Yeah, 500 attendees. So more than enough room. And I think that's their basic plan or pro plan or something like that. There was like one, if I remember right, that was like 25 attendees or 50. And I was like, nah, that's just, well, I don't ever expect to have that many people show up, at least for the first couple of them that I'm doing, because it always takes momentum. And I don't even know if anybody's really interested in this crap, to be honest with you, except for me. So, and other DFIR heads, right? So, this may be more of me just creating content. You remember the old saying where turn around, you're singing to the choir. And it's an old biblical term where like the pastor is pretty much echoing everything to the elitist, if you will, or people who know what they're talking about, aka the choir. You need to turn around and direct your attention to the people who are trying to absorb it. You can use the same term at like a band, right? Lead singer, turn around, you're singing to the band, right? You're here for the audience type of thing. So the long way of saying, I'm not sure if there's an audience for this. So we'll see. You never know until you try, right? It's like when you're going in for the job raise, and you're negotiating your renewal or your return to work to the same organization because of crazy termination or something. You never know what you're going to get as a compensation coming back to the organization unless you ask. The worst thing they can say is no, right? So, but yeah, we got 500 possible attendees. I'll be flabbergasted if we hit 50. Computer Geek. I'm about to get into a data center tech role. Congratulations, dude, or dudette, or whatever. Sorry. What should I know about and expect? All right. I guess I'll take it from two sides. So there's two types of data centers, at least it jumps off the top of my mind. You have your internal data center and you have a colo data center. Internal is the company owns the data center. Everything in the data center belongs to the company, almost like an Amazon or Microsoft or whatever. It's all their service, it's all their infrastructure. Everything is owned by the company, managed, maintained, all that. Then you have what's called colo, where the data center provides the infrastructure, the racks, the electrical, the HVAC, and they just lease out racks and data pipes to its customers. So let's just say you are Joe's Ice Cream Shop data center. Unless you are Bob's Data Center Services and you're renting out space to Joe Belton's Ice Cream Shop. You know, I still own that freaking domain. Whatever happened to Joe Belton? I got to message him. You're able to, so take a step back. So that kind of explains the two of them. You're going to have to realize what, uptime guarantees really mean. How do we bring devices offline for reboots, maintenances, and stuff like that, aka high availability in your network infrastructure? You're going to learn a lot about monitoring tools. You may see PRTG. You may see there's a Winbox version that I know some techs use. Monitor. Let's see. MicroTik. The Dude. The Dude is the name of that software. I have seen this in data centers. I'm not, take it with a grain of salt. It's been about 4 or 5 years since I've been in a data center, but this is a free one. MicroTiks are massively used in data centers, just because it's a poor man Cisco, and the capabilities of these friggin' things are impressive. So your lower end will definitely use a lot of these. So you may see a little bit of the Dude. You may see some PRTG, different network tools and stuff like that. But another thing you may want to do, no matter which one the scenario is your SOWs, your SOP, standard operating procedure. So just literally start asking questions. Be that a-hole. Hey, so hypothetically, if X, Y, and or Z happened, what's our SOP for that? Like, how would I do that? And you can use the fictitious, like, once you're there for a couple of days and you kind of realize where the network racks are and stuff like that. And let's just say hypothetically, this one rack over here in the west corner on the west side of the building it loses power, right? Breaker trips. What's my SOP for that? Am I allowed to go over to the electrical panel, look for a tripped breaker first, turn it back on and see if it turns it back on before going to the electrical team? Like, what is my protocol? Or do I just send over a ticket to the electrical department and say, hey, we got a tripped breaker over here, or we have an electrical. You're not allowed to touch the cover to the electrical panel. Like, every business is going to be a little bit different. So, now that I've kind of talked myself into a circle there, I would definitely say SOPs are a big thing to know in the data center role. Question, it's a script kiddie that uses AI to code. Oh, the Vibe Kitty or Kiddo. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you. The EPSS tool, I suck at JavaScript. I use Grok to help me with a lot of that. I mean, some of it's mine, but a lot of it is Grok. Chris Whitlock wanted the copy and paste. Dude, I fought that thing for 2.5 hours. And I'm like, I wonder if Grok can help me with this. 30 seconds later, it had the code. I'm like, son of a... So, I mean, there's no shame in using AI to help you code. Should AI be used for 100% of your code? Probably not, right? I don't know, because are you really a coder at that point if you're using AI? No, I mean, you're just efficient at generating code versus being a quote unquote coder. I love AI, but I hate AI, right? So, because you honestly can be a developer, and I don't know how people are doing it, 'cause I'm not that versed in AI. But I see on X where people are using Grok to make complete GUI-based applications or games. I'm like, that's pretty cool. The games look like crap. That's kind of cool. Like, you can give it some stuff, but that's the part that I don't know. Maybe I should take some time to really look into it. Like, what was their input strings to at least start creating that application, right? I'll be curious about that. But there was a story earlier this week where I think it was on CISO series, and we talked about it here. If I didn't, then sorry. But I remember reading a story and talking about it where companies are now requiring proper due diligence before posting a new job. Let's just say hypothetically, you need a new IT person. Can AI backfill some of that work without hiring a new full-time engineer or part-time engineer, right? So is AI impacting the industry? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that just means you gotta up your game somehow. What does that look like? I don't know. What can you do that AI can't do? And to be honest with you, it's a lot right now. But in 5, 7, 10 years, I don't know, right? I mean, we see a lot of stuff going on where AI is making leaps and bounds with some of the stuff where it's able to do. Some of it's really scary. Digital forensics may be a thing of the past in the next 5 years. It may all just be, we're just dumping the entire drive into an AI model and it's going to spit out the freaking forensic report in 24 hours. Because it's going to be a lot of data to go through and parse. So, my job may be obsolete in another 5 years. I don't know. This is why savings accounts are very valuable, boys and girls. Prepare for a rainy day. From Maurice, I was talking about the recycle bin, but you put the link in chat. Okay, cool. Let's do a refresh. Yep, looks like I've got all of the possible questions, it looks like. I could teach a robot to love, that still counts. Insert adult comment here. What's up, Solomon? I will not try to butcher your last name. Maybe that's what it was. I remember seeing an article about it. I just didn't know if it was here where, and y'all may have talked about it this week, and that's where I'm remembering it. But I remember seeing that. Now that you say that, Kimberly can fix it. Just sent out a notice to all employees that they must find ways to use AI and prove why AI can't make up for the headcount, also requiring everybody to use AI in the company from top down. Exactly what I was saying. I just couldn't remember it was Shopify. But yeah, that's exactly it. Thank you so much, Miss Kimberly can mix it or fix it. Mix it. Kimberly's going into the DJ world. Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn on some music. How dare me? Let's fix that. Oh, unmute. Sorry, that's not your headset's going crazy. That's me trying to adjust the volume and accidentally muted it like 4 times. A question: if you had to get a cert today, which one would you do? I will take it from 2 sides. If I'm starting out, it would be either the CompTIA's Security Plus or an equivalent one. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shade for this, but if you're more experienced in my industry, SANS is still the Cadillac. It's still the gold standard. I've actually got to go through and renew all of my SANS stuff this year. Do I need to renew and take the GX cert? I don't know. As I'm thinking about it, I don't think so. It's just the fact that I took the course, then I can prove I take the course and I got the experience and I got the cert. Oh yeah, dude, I'm going to need to take the certification. There's an industry that I'm trying to go after that's going to require me to have the certification. Now I think about it. So, but yeah, if you're more seasoned, as much as I hate to say it, because you're definitely talk to your company that you're with about helping you out, because it's a $10,000 to $12,000 investment per course, and that includes their training, their GX certification test. It's like 1 or 2 tries, I forget. In like 90 days or 60 days, access to the recordings from your class or something of that nature. It's been a couple years, as you can tell. Dennis, oh my God. Yes. Loki is not, sorry, boy. I'll say potato, because they're snoozing right now and you probably can't hear them because of the music. But L is potato. The other one is Swiss roll. Kind of the names I came up with them for. The Frenchie I call Gremlin, because sometimes you pick him up and he sounds like a freaking gremlin. Like, don't put water on him because he may freaking reproduce. Freaking terrorist. Potato, not so much. Swiss roll, very much so. Like, she gets super hyperventilated. She gets worked up real easy, and it takes a long time for us to calm her down. So, yeah, they can downright get it. I have a running joke, like, if I plan on getting to sleep at night, I need to fall asleep before everybody else in the house does. Otherwise, I'm up all night. It's just chainsaws all day long. Let's see. What beginner GRC roles besides audit and compliance assist analysts are there? I don't know. Charlie, I'm not the GRC guy. I'm sorry. I've been blue team. I've been red team. I've been blue team. And now I'm a specialized blue team with digital forensics and incident response. I have a running gag that says GRC sucks. The EPSS tool that I put together, I literally put the change log on there so I didn't get grief from Jerry. Well, what about a change log? What was your change log? Right? So I literally put a change log up there and update it every time we do something, just so I don't get flack from Jerry. So I don't know much about it, except GRC makes my life troublesome. So I definitely come back tomorrow, ask Jerry. He will have the better insight for you, my friend. That is the same. I'm just kind of going through. There's 222 of you still here. What crazy. Gotta make sure I got all of them in here. I'm very excited to see Kimberly Can Fix It come out with a new post on Monday about something upcoming to her. Might make Jerry grumble. Just kidding. Thank you so much, Sierra Montgomery. I greatly appreciate it. I can't afford to smoke crack because I can't afford a lighter. Instead, just sprinkle it into my. This isn't a tech thing, but maybe don't get caviar, and then you can afford your lighter. I'm pretty sure caviars cost more than even some of the fancier propane lighters. Maybe you're striking a chord with someone who never knew DFIR for it, but it sparks interest. Oh yeah, so that the webinars could definitely do that. Good point, Alpha Sierra, right? So that's a reference to why in the world, am I putting this out there, right? Just kind of catching up here on chat. Any other last questions before we sign off for the day? We're starting to see some people drop off. We are at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Got a tag in here. Please make sure you use the Q colon mark, because that's literally, I do control find, and that's literally what I put in there, Q colon to help find. I just happen to come down here and see this. What's the premise of the joke? The dolphins. I just wanted to do something different. So a lot of times when you're watching YouTube, you hear people do duck sounds or dog sounds or whatever, and I curse a lot. So I was like, dolphin will be good. And I played it like twice, and it just took off, so I just left it. I thought about a couple of times about switching over to a duck, like a quick quack type thing, but the dolphin's been kind of christened and will be here to stay. Maurice, do you use Deep Blue CLI? No, I do not. I haven't. When was the last time that thing was updated? Yeah. So those who don't know, here is the GitHub for it. And this is really a PowerShell to go through forensic logs. It hasn't been updated in a long time. I think it's been kind of abandoned. Even the issues that are there are, haven't been answered in years. So, I use several other tools. I needed something more widespread and had more function. I was trying to think of the right. So y'all are going to see a different Eric in a couple of weeks. So those who know, I'm riddled with ADHD, and I've been talking about doing a healthier thing, doing calorie deficit, and a little bit on some of the shows and stuff. So, and that's really for me to get my blood pressure down, so that way I can get back on ADHD medicine instead of self-medicating with an abundance amount of coffee and sugar and everything else like that. So I've actually got the appointment with the doc next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything comes back well, and he says, here's your ADHD medicine that you've been wanting for the past 3 years. And then I can focus. So everything is, the best way I can describe ADHD for those who don't know, imagine you're sitting at your on your couch. You have your 3-year-old sitting beside you. Your 3-year-old has a remote and just randomly keeps changing channels. You're like, so so we're watching a show. It's about some cops, and okay, they just pulled this guy over. Oh, now it's Sesame Street. What's Elmo doing? Okay, he's going to talk to Big Bird. Oh, why are we watching about some house fire on the news now? I mean, it's just all over the place, right? So I would love to be able to get back on track. The dolphin is this deep blue dolphin. Yep. Question: I'm studying and was curious in the past recession or in general in that economic situation, is there an uptick in security events? Yes, absolutely. I mean, we already said we have record number highs of threat actor activity right now. Yeah. The story was just put out today. We are seeing record number of threat actor disclosures right now in Q1 of this year. Can you give a brief overview on the? Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about. We're only focusing on the Windows recycle bin. How to look at it? How what's the differences in? It's a couple of different files. Here's a couple of alternatives because the Windows recycle bin sucks, especially from a forensic standpoint. And I mean, it's probably going to be no more than 10 or 15 minutes of me rambling about something goofy that nobody cares about. But if you're interested in that kind of stuff, tune in. I don't know how marketing is going to do it yet, but the way that we're going to do it, we're going to have the webinar, and within like a week or two, or maybe a couple of days, just depends on how fast marketing does what they're going to do. I'm not sure if there's going to be shorts that are going to drip out, and then the final version of the video gets dropped on YouTube, or how that's marketing stick. I'm just doing it. Marketing can take care of the rest of it, right? So I'm not sure how the play out, but I do know eventually within a couple of weeks, I would imagine the recording will be on YouTube and LinkedIn if you missed it. So again, unless you're into forensics and you're just kind of curious about Windows and what I think a good alternative is to preserve data like that, then tune in. If you're not, and that doesn't mean this, I'm not trying to sound rude either, right? But it's pretty, like I'm trying to go literally what I'm putting together is a bunch of what I call mini series, right? We're just focusing on one topic, one application maybe, and how does forensics work around that? There's a lot of forensic courses out there, and they do very broad topics of stuff like that. I was like, nobody's really doing it on the actual application, right? And again, I don't know if anybody's really interested in it or not, but I figured we'll throw it out there. If there's interest, great. We'll keep doing it after 4 or 5 or 6 episodes. If there's not much interest in it, no worries. But like I said, you just never know until you try. Eric 3.0, the dolphin. Yep. You get yourself back here. Get back here. Oh yeah, definitely FedEx. You can focus more than half a minute. Random X, yeah, I will do some major trash talking. When Eric talk about marketing, like all I can think of is, Karen, you're on the right track about an announcement Monday. From Charles, you briefly mentioned you prefer pen and paper. Would you consider doing digital like tablet and pen? What are your pros and cons, and would you try it? my handwriting is atrocious enough that half the time in about 10 minutes, I have a hard time reading what I wrote down on paper. That's literally my workflow is take what I wrote down on paper and immediately put into an Excel sheet as quickly as possible. I've tried, so back when I did field work, and I was a subcontractor for a lot of organizations, I didn't want to keep up with a bunch of PDFs. So there was a very unique PDF application, and I forget the name of it. And this has been so many years ago, and Adobe does it natively now, I think. But on the iPad, there was a way for you to write your notes and all that stuff. And I tried handwriting it with my stylus pen for the iPad. No freaking good at all, right? Especially when you're submitting it to the companies to get paid. So I had to have one that actually had a text box, and I would sit there and hint text on the iPad. It was before you really had the newer iPad Pros that had the docking station for the iPad with the keyboard and stuff like that. So you always had to do like the wireless keyboard and stuff, and it was just a pain. So yeah, I mean, would I try it again? Because I know now you can do, you can write on it and it will translate what you wrote into normal text. That may be something that I look at. You know, and I've thought about as well. This is getting really, really freaking technical now, but I have seen some videos, and I don't know how true it is. It could all just be CGI, but they have on their desk. If you ever look at, God, what's his name over at Black Hills? Oh, I see his face. Zach Hill. There we go. ADHD. I literally thought of cats, and then it was Zach, and then Zach Hill. Anyway, he's got, his desk is a giant whiteboard, right? But I thought about taking, because I've got on my desk, it's very budget friendly, but it freaking works. Things you learn in the Marine Corps, right? You don't keep it simple, stupid. So got at Lowe's and got those big freaking butcher blocks. So I literally got one that's really, really wide and really deep, and that's my main desk. And I got one that's kind of narrow, both the same grain. And I took leg stands, put them down, and I have an L-shaped desk. It's been that way for years, and the thing is rock solid. I think I spent $150 on the whole thing because it's butcher block. But the crap stood up. It stands up. It's really, really cool. But anyway, I've seen people do like a whiteboard or a sheet that's kind of like stationary on their desk. And you know, like some of those, I guess the best way to say it's like those product box opening videos. I don't know if it's still a thing or not. But they would have a camera up here that would face down. And as you wrote on your whiteboard or your sheet of paper, it would capture and translate it. You know, and I thought about, you know, our intake forums and stuff like that, you know, having a couple that were there, and then it could just, as I wrote it, it just translated it and put it in there, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it ever again. I thought about that. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole to see if that's a real technology or just CGI bullcrap, but whatever. Luke, DFR is cool. Hunting evil, to me, is the best job in the world. I love it. Okay, so I am seeing login attempts on my MSF, so that's Microsoft for those who don't know, account in 2-hour intervals from different IPs on OSs globally. I have MFA set up and strong password. Is it normal to have unauthorized login attempts? Absolutely. Shane. Conditional access policy. is going to be your key. Let's say hypothetically, you are in the U.S. Things to consider. Can you try to log into my tenant from Tor? Every business around the globe should block that, right? No Tor access. You don't need to be accessing your Microsoft tenant from a effing Tor browser. Block that crap. If you're in the US or you're in Germany or you're in Australia and your entire team is in that country, block outside access. It's getting conditional access policy. Funny enough, we're going to have a webinar series about that. I think that's going to, I put it over to marketing yesterday. They're going to go through it with the director of business partnerships, Lisa, and they're chewing on the episode framework that I put together, and then I'm going to build out the syllabus and stuff like that. But that conditional access policies is definitely one of those. But let's say hypothetically you're in the U.S. and everybody is located in Florida. Block everybody's IP or all the locations not in Florida. You can do that. It's in the conditional access. You got to get a little granular, and you definitely want to make sure you have an emergency break glass account. That can log in globally, so to speak, right? But I will say, if you can, YubiKeys. So I'm uber paranoid. We have just about everybody moved over where they are YubiKey and MFA. You need a passcode to get into the YubiKey. You need to authenticate on the YubiKey. Then you have a third-party MFA platform. You can't log in you can't log into our tenant from the Tor. And I'm about to implement where our VPN service that we use, the IP address stays the same because we have a dedicated server with our VPN provider. I pay that much for it because I need to obfuscate where the hell I am half the time when I'm doing my work. But I'm getting to the point where unless you're on that specific IP address, you can't log in at all. And that again, that's me being paranoid, right? It will never be a great day ever. Barricade Cyber Solutions compromised by into your threat actor name here. That would never be a good day. That's one of the mentalities that I fight back on is there's two types of businesses: those who have been breached and those who don't know they've been breached. I know for a fact we haven't been, and I'll fight to the end of the day. I know we haven't been, and nor will we ever, unless there is a APT organization coming after me and one of my software vendors has a 0 day that I am not able to control. That's the only way we're getting compromised. Every control mechanism that I can think of to implement in our organization is strongly considered, and most are implemented. But that's where security and technology, business operation has to come together, right? Welcome to ADHD land. Here we go. You can't put so much security in place that it breaks the business. But you can't let the business run 190 miles an hour with no security. It's got to gel like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I like that analogy, you folks. Random X, for yours, I would say Cisco Duo or Authy. And if I remember correctly, there's a way that you can mandate a Google Auth and an external one. So like before we went passwordless with Microsoft, we had that. We had You'd logged in, typical username and password. Then you had the Microsoft Authenticator. Then you had a third-party authenticator. It got to be a pain. But you're going through multiple steps to say, "Yep, it's really me, guys. It's really me," and allow you in. Then we implemented desktop application monitoring. Don't get overburdened. There's an application called Desktop Health or Desktop App or something like that with some of the third-party vendors. So it will monitor, do you have a certain EDR installed? Are you at least this version of the OS or higher on your mobile and your desktop and things of that nature? And that's what I'm talking about. So we started implementing that, to help say, you can't log in on unmanaged company device, especially my tenant, right? Especially me. Like everything that I touch needs to be company owned. I don't want somebody logging into our tenant as me in a non-company owned device. I have way too many keys to the kingdom. It would be a very bad day. For Google, I know that you can force your devices to sign on as a Google Workspace tenant. You can join them to the Google ecosystem. I don't know if Workspace actually allows you to lock it down to only, like mimic domain joined or inter ID joined. I have to research that one. But to your question, yeah, I think Duo and Authy maybe are two best to bolt on top of Google Authenticator. And those who are talking about these logins, hang on a second. Potato needs to go outside. All right. You enjoy seeing all my fatness come back into the camera? It's disgusting, isn't it? Anyway, I open the door and now you're gonna hear a siren going by. Sorry. When you're looking at your logs, ladies and gentlemen, and you get to a point where you're starting to see people signing in but failing the MFA, that is not a breach, but your credentials are leaked or compromised. They're just your credentials are compromised, right? So immediately change it. Your MFA was your stopgap from unauthorized access because the credentials are compromised. So, but these systems are global. Like, we'll go back to Joe Belton's ice cream shop. He's on Microsoft or Google. In theory, you should be able to log into your tenant from anywhere in the globe. So, if I put my name as Joel Belton's ice cream shop.com into Microsoft, I should be able to try to log in. So, I mean, seeing those failed logins are not alarming to me. Thanks so much for the thorough answer. Absolutely. Love all the info. Cool. It'll be cool to have a digital desk that translate all your writing, sketches, etc. in the platform you're working. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And there may be actually that tool already out there. It's just been something that's been kicking around in the back of my mind because I'm actually getting ready to redo my monitor setup and everything because I need my workflow to change dramatically. So I'm looking at different desk setups and stuff like that, trying to consider different things, and I'll be looking into that. So that technology could already be there. I just haven't gotten to that stage in my planning process because I don't want to go down rabbit holes that I don't need to yet, right? So, yeah, I think the technology is there. I just got to find the app or whatever, and supporting cameras because the camera's got to support it. Is there special whatever we got to do? I don't know, but I am considering that because that would make my life so much easier. Even if it just took everything as I was writing it and just put it in Notepad. Line 1 was, he wrote this in line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And then I can just copy and paste and sort it where I need to. I mean, even that would be freaking cool. Anyway, I digress. Uber paranoid. Are all the windows gonna be blacked out? Like every window has to be blacked out? Thank you, Eric. Sure. I'm not sure what you're thinking before, but you are welcome. All right. We are getting to the top of the hour. I do have some other calls coming up that I do have to take care of. What I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, try to refresh my search. Q colon, coming up with 9. Okay, I've got that one. Got that. Starting curious about past recessions. Talked about that. Already talked about that for it on. Yep, talked about that. Yeah, talked about the Microsoft failing. Talked about Google environment. Yeah, I think that is all of them, ladies and gentlemen. Did everybody enjoy themselves today? And be honest, is 2 days a week of me too much? And it's perfectly fine if it is. Like, should we get somebody else to take care of Thursdays? I'm more than happy to take 2 days a week. I mean, I pitch hit and fill in for Jerry all the time when he needs me to, and I'm happy to do it. But I want to lob it back to you. Is 2 days of me and my goofy ranting okay, or should we potentially look at getting a second person in for Thursdays? Drop your comments in. And we will talk about it in the mods and stuff like that. Is the dog a sweet potato or mashed potato? Loki is a sweet potato. He is a sweet boy. There's a couple things that drive him nuts, like kissing him on his head and stuff like that he wants to bite my face on. I mean, they're both sweet for the most part. It's just Annie is younger than Loki, and she's got some aggression for some reason, and likes to take it out. He's been taking out on Loki for a while, and then Loki just puts his paw down and says enough is enough and puts her in place. But now she's starting to do it to the puppy, and the puppy's not strong enough. So it's causing some problems. Oh, could you imagine the bill just to go like 3 blocks in an uber paranoid Brinks truck? Oh my gosh, that would be. You gotta have stupid money for that. Eight days a week would be too much. I agree. I feel like I'm getting back. I mean, if this was a little shorter, it would be a high and tight. I don't like it this short because my hair is weird. So I have curly hair, but I have weird curly hair. So it takes a while to grow out a little bit, and then the curl will hit in. So it's not like the perm curl or whatever, like those real tight curls or anything. So it's got to grow out a little bit. And so when it's like this short, it's just, it doesn't matter how much gel I put in it. This cowlick stays here, and it's just a mess. It's just a complete mess. And then once it grows out about a half inch or so, completely manageable until it starts to get wavy, and then the curl starts coming in and becomes unmanageable again. So it's that fine line, and my butcher went too short. Whoa, what is going on? Oh, okay. I've seen 3 missed calls, and I about freaked out, and it was 3 from a couple of days ago or something. My iPhone's being goofy. Okay. All right, y'all. We are coming to the top of the hour. Those who are still here, 165 of you people, all between LinkedIn and YouTube. I do greatly appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for tuning in for this jaw jacking. I will try to be on tomorrow. My schedule's kind of filling up a little bit for our panel. But I'll try to be on for tomorrow's panel session. If not, I will see y'all next Tuesday. Y'all get out there. Try to enjoy the day, as always. Try to go out there and touch some grass. It's starting to grow down here. Been doing some grass repair myself. So we have St. Augustine grass. And my next call just joined in the teams. But we have St. Augustine grass. I'm putting down a bunch of mulch and play sand and stuff like that. Or not play sand, but fill-in sand, lowland sand. So let me just message this guy that I'll be there in 1 second. Okay. For those who are, please go out there and share this with people. And I will see y'all on Tuesday. As always, be curious, my friends.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal, then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your...
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.